Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. Today I have another book review for you of a Goosebumps relatively, well I guess it is the newest current Goosebumps franchise book series going on called Goosebumps SlappyWorld. This is book number 5, Escape from Shudder Mansion by R.L. Stine. Now the thing with this, I've been reading the SlappyWorld series in order since about Thanksgiving or so. Just because I want to read them in order. I've never read any of the series just straight up, number 1 through whatever, in order, and I wanted to do that with this, so that's kind of why I'm taking my time getting through these. Of course, the next book that I cannot wait to start either tonight or tomorrow morning is going to be Ghosts of Slappy. I'm hoping that's going to be really good. I'm really stoked about that to see if it's going to be kind of like Slappy's Nightmare, maybe better, I don't know. This was actually, for the most part, really good. I kind of think the ending is a little weak. Kind of. I'm going to do a spoiler-free review like I always do on my channel, so don't worry too much if you're new to the channel. I really liked the book a lot. I thought it had a lot going for it. My favorite thing about Escape from Shudder Mansion, aside from the title being Escape, or being a reference to Shudder Island, you know, aside from it being a reference to that, you might have seen, or heard in this case, because it wasn't a video, it was like a video that I made with an audio-only type of review I did when I first started the channel up last February. There was a particular Goosebumps book that came out in the Most Wanted era, around 2014 or 15, somewhere in there. It was called Goosebumps Most Wanted, Special Edition number 4, I believe. It was called The Haunter. The Haunter has like one of the best Goosebumps covers ever. It is just freaking awesome looking, especially if you get the holographic looking one. And the big first half of the book was really great. This is that whole book done better, in my opinion. Because the second half of The Haunter really got weak. I won't spoil that for you. But it avoided and stayed away from what it should have been. It's a special edition, so it was about 170 pages long. This book is your basic 130 page long story. But I think that at some point R.L. Stine realized that he went too far off base with The Haunter. The Haunter kind of went from being actually genuinely scary and creepy with almost the same exact concept as what happens with this book, even though that book came before this one. And it's like R.L. Stine wanted to go back and right his wrongs with The Haunter and make this instead. I think Escape from Shudder Mansion is actually really, really fun and really creepy at times too. Not like the scariest book. I wouldn't even say like the scariest of the newest SlappyWorld series. But it was good. It had its moments, man. In one particular scene, the skeleton scene, if you've seen this book or read this book, whatever, the skeleton scene got to me a lot. I thought it was genuinely creepy. I could just picture that whole thing in my head, better than most Goosebumps scenes. Anyway, what's the plot of Escape from Shudder Mansion? Basically, there's a young boy named Riley. He has a twin sister that's named, I can't remember her name now, all of a sudden. Doesn't matter. All the characters always feel the same. Twin sister. Riley is your main character throughout the entire book. Your whole focus and everything you see through his perspective is first person. There is a particular mansion in his neighborhood called Shudder Mansion. And there's actually a video game based off of the legends and all the things people have heard about this particular house. How it's apparently haunted. It has all these creatures supposedly living inside of it from what people have said. But mainly that it's haunted. Again, there's a video game based around this particular huge house that people love to death. People are obsessed with. It's a very popular video game. And Riley himself is obsessed with it. He plays it all the time. And when he and his sister are pretty much out in the neighborhood and looking at this house, and Riley's kind of just creeped out looking at it. He stares at it all the time. He happens to come across a very creepy shadow that moves along. And then he and his sister actually run into a girl named Maya, or Mia. I think it's just Mia, M-I-A. I don't think it really matters how you pronounce it, but I don't know. Maybe that fake human being prefers it to be pronounced a certain way. I don't know. I don't care. Mia. And Mia seems nice. She's a very sweet, kind of shy, quiet person. And Riley and his sister are not. They bicker and they banter. They're fun to watch do this throughout the whole book. Riley and the sister go to school, and they get basically an assignment from their teacher, just like in The Haunter, where they have to go to this haunted mansion, the Shudder Mansion place, that Riley's terrified of, but also familiar with because of the game that he plays all the time. The kids all take their parents to go to this place too, and they may or may not be into a situation where they might have to experience some haunting stuff. The parents set up a whole thing where they had a conversation, and they tell the kids the night of this ghost investigation thing they decide to have. The parents are all going to stay on the first floor downstairs, protect the house, make sure nobody gets in the house to go upstairs and attack the kids. They set up lights and lanterns upstairs for the kids earlier that day, the day of the actual investigation stuff for the ghosts. And the kids are supposed to stay upstairs by themselves the whole time and do their little walking around all night long. They're supposed to spend the entire night inside the Shudder mansion, even though the parents are downstairs. They're going to stay the whole night. Everybody is. And they have to do like a report and everything else. And Riley, again, being so familiar with the house because the video game is based around the entire formatting of the house, he is kind of the go-to guy at times. Even though there's one particular kid, the dear Lord... Riley has a kid in his class named Carter. And Carter is kind of that spoiled, rotten, I wouldn't say rich kid, maybe he's supposed to be rich, but he's kind of well-to-do. He has everything. He has an answer for everything. He'll make up lies just to sound like he knows what he's talking about stuff. He's just one of those people. There's a lot of like people like that on YouTube and stuff. And Riley cannot stand this kid, and the more that I read of Carter and the things that he would say in the book to other characters, particularly Mia, who the main character Riley has a crush on, the more you just want to slap Carter. Carter makes this book a lot of the time just obnoxious, because he's supposed to be that way, so it's not like it's ruining the book or anything, but he's there and he's very present and he doesn't shut up. So that's one of the big things about the book that I don't like, but you're not supposed to like. You know, it's fine, whatever. Riley I enjoy. I like the sister as well. I cared about the sister. It was really... Oh, the sister's name is Scarlet. That's what it was. Excuse me. Her name was Scarlet. I like them, and I thought it was a fun book for the most part. I thought it had a lot going for it. The ending, as I said, was kind of weak. It kind of becomes something that's not really as impressive as I think R.L. Stine thought it was going to be. The ending, I don't think you could predict the ending. The last chapter or so, I don't think you could predict it. It's really weird and really, really wild. It doesn't really make any sense, but it's Goosebumps, and it feels relatively like Goosebumps. Not entirely, but relatively. It kind of feels in that neighborhood of a weird type of Goosebumps ending, that if we had modern console video game stuff going on back in like the 90s, that we didn't have at that time, if you had the modern gaming setups that you have now, back in those days, I feel like this book would have been one of the original classic Goosebumps series books. Not that that's a good thing, but, you know, it doesn't focus too much on the technology. I'm fine with that. Even though there's like one chapter earlier in the book that's like entirely focused about the main character doing a bunch of gaming stuff. And it's kind of important, but kind of not as long as it goes on. It's like 6 pages of this kid playing a video game. And you don't need it. I've never seen that in Goosebumps. It was weird. Felt like it needed to be chopped up and thrown out, basically. Kill your darlings, as the old writing advice goes. The book ain't perfect. It ain't perfect, but I would argue at this current point, reading the first 5 books of the series, this might be in like my top 4, which is weird to say out of 5 books that I've read so far from the SlappyWorld run of Goosebumps, or era, whatever you want to call this. Maybe in my top 3? I don't know. I really like Slappy Birthday to You. And I really, really, really liked I Am Slappy's Evil Twin. I think that was a great book. Don't Feed the Weirdo was really great. There's a lot of good books from the SlappyWorld series so far. The only one I didn't really like so far was Attack of the Jack. And again, Ghost of Slappy's the next book. That could end up being freaking fantastic. I've heard a lot of people say that was a really good book, so I'm hoping that they'll be right. I'm hoping it'll be a really good one that I won't forget. But for now, Escape from Shudder Mansion, it was fine for what it was. Again, I enjoyed it. I actually thought it was kind of creepy, especially the skeleton scene, like I mentioned. If you haven't heard of that scene, if you haven't read the book and read the scene yourself, it was great. I love that scene. It's one of my favorite Goosebumps scenes, pretty much. It was really, really spooky. And the whole haunted house thing, again, I certainly, without doubt, think, and I say this now, but I also said it in the Haunter review that I did a long time ago, like a year ago, the Haunter really lost its place when they got out of the house and did a whole new thing. This book does not lose that. Pretty much the entire book is taking place inside of the Shudder Mansion, and it did it well. It did it a lot better than the Haunter did it. Again, I feel like this is R.L. Stine answering my review to the Haunter, because the Haunter was just a really sloppy, ended up becoming a silly mess type of a book. It wasn't horrible, but it was a really mixed bag. This is not like that. The ending is a little weak, But for the most part, this book's really good. I also do still like the SlappyWorld introduction little tidbits where Slappy just jumps in and tells you something, or it skips to the next day and Slappy tells you, like, hey, we're going to the next day, and he makes his little jokes and puns. Slappy's always fun to read. He's not in the book as a character, but he is the narrator, not throughout the book, but in those little intervals where he interrupts the story and tells you some stuff. I really like that about the SlappyWorld books. I think it fits for the most part, even in books like this that don't focus on Slappy. It's still kind of fun, you know? I still liked it. I can't wait to see what Ghost of Slappy is going to be like. I'm really hoping that's a good one. I'm really excited for that, but I'm really nervous at the same time because it could easily be horrible. Son of Slappy exists, okay? If Son of Slappy exists as a book in the Most Wanted series, it is very possible that Ghost of Slappy could be bad. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Escape from, I keep saying Escape 2, Escape from Shudder Mansion? What did you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. If I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It ain't perfect, but I liked it a lot. Let me know down below what you think about the book. Thank you for watching, guys. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.